Alright, first show of the new year. You know, I had to take a little time to go back and look at some of my older episodes, and there's a lot of bad cartoons, weren't there? See, I don't want that to be what I'm all about. So today, we're going to look at something that's actually good. And it's a little extra special because since I'm from the old school, we're going to look at something from the new school. Don't you dare turn off the video, I swear I'm still funny. Oban Star Racers, an awesome yet mostly overlooked series. Conceptualized in France and ultimately created in Japan, it's a great show with an intriguing plot, complex characters, and some pretty balls-to-the-wall action. I caught an episode late night on Jetix, and after tracking down the entire series, I could not stop watching. I'll go into more detail in a second, but first we have to focus on something. This show has a distinct look to it. I'm going to play a clip, see if you can figure out what that is.
Guess what? You're fired.
Have you guessed what it is yet?
Who are you?
Do you see it? Or maybe you don't see it. Well, if you still haven't figured it out, here's a hint.
You have no nose! Your nose is gone! You have no nose on your face! Where it is I can't say, but on your face it's not!
Yes, it appears that nobody in this entire universe has a nose. Why? Well, according to Wikipedia, the bottomless well of knowledge that it is, the creator of the show simply does not like noses. And that's about the best answer I can come up with.
This is why I don't have one of these. It's disgusting.
But you know, as comical as that is, the show is so good that you're going to forget about that very quickly. Okay, so here's the plot. The year is 2082, and many worlds across the galaxy are in the middle of a war with the hostile alien race called the Krogs. These big black motherfuckers that make Frieza's men look like a bunch of pussies. But the intergalactic conflict is soon brought to a halt by a mysterious being simply known as the Avatar. No, not that Avatar. Not that one either. No. Try again. Definitely not that Avatar. There we go. The Avatar is an all-powerful, omnipotent being. Essentially, he is God of this universe. He announces the start of something called the Great Race that occurs once every 10,000 years. All of the warring races call a temporary truce and begin preparations to compete. Meanwhile, we cut to our main character, Eva, a daughter of a famous racer named Maya, and her manager, Don Wei. Maya died during an unfortunate racing accident, and her father left her in a boarding school so he can focus on his work. Yeah, that was kind of a dick move, and after thinking about it for a few years, Eva decides to escape and go find him. When she finally meets him, being a workaholic deadbeat, he doesn't recognize her and immediately starts getting in her face about intruding in his garage. Caught up in the shock of him not recognizing her, she makes up the fake name Molly and convinces him to give her a job in his pit crew because of her mechanical talents. By the way, what is up with his hair? Is that supposed to be graying hair? I've never seen someone age so symmetrically. Anyway, if you recall what I said before, I think you can see where this is going. Don Wei is chosen to represent Earth in the Great Race and heads off with his ship, the Whizzing Arrow, the ship's gunner Jordan, Molly, the rest of the pit crew, and the pilot Rick Thunderbolt, who has more cool in his shades than you will ever have in your entire life. They arrive on planet Alwas for the preliminary races. Unfortunately, Rick suffers a severe injury after tripping over his own awesomeness and is unable to continue to pilot. So, in an effort to prove herself to her father, Molly, or Eva, or whatever the hell we're supposed to call her at this point, takes the helm and races for the Earth. Now, you're probably wondering what this race thing is all about. Well, the winner of the race receives the ultimate prize. What is that exactly?
He can offer the winner anything. Serving the galaxy on a silver tray, destroying worlds, even bringing back a loved one.
So yeah, the Avatar essentially grants any wish you want, and everyone is after it for various reasons. Of course, the Earth wants to use it to defeat the Krogs, Molly wants to win so she can bring back her mother, The Krogs want to use it to gain ultimate power over the galaxy. Others want it for their own personal gain, but many want the prize to rebuild their respective civilizations that have been destroyed by the Krogs. What I find interesting is that those racers are usually portrayed as evil or just plain bad guys. But it makes you wonder, are they really bad? Does doing whatever it takes for a greater good, like rebuilding your lost civilization, make you evil? Speaking of the aliens, I have to bring up how creative some of the character designs look. They really do feel otherworldly, and it's not just the lack of a nose. Some are very unique. After all, we can't assume all intelligent life are going to be upright bipedal humanoids with opposable thumbs. Though there's still no excuse for everyone throughout the entire universe all speaking the same language.
To, Vajmal te Bitmalho. English.
Another great thing about this show is how emotionally attached you get to some of the characters. When Rick gets hurt and receives the news because of his injury he can never race again, needless to say, he does not take it very well. Racing was his life and all he knew, and it absolutely tore him up inside. Imagine the one thing you ever loved being taken away forever. But of course, Molly's got it the worst of anyone. On top of having issues with her dad, she also holds the responsibility of winning the race for the sake of the Earth, among other things that are going on. That's a lot to deal with, especially for someone so young. Every time you see her, you know she's trying to deal with it all. You can see it all over her face. What little of it there is. And whenever she tries to talk to Don Wei, you can tell she's trying to gain his acceptance of her. Even when he does praise her, you can tell she just wants to scream out that she's his daughter. Fortunately, she is surrounded by a lot of good friends and encouragement. Even though he gets hurt, Rick coaches her to help improve her racing ability. Jordan is always looking out for her. She befriends a few of the other racers, one of whom is an obvious love interest. And every so often, this mysterious little guy named Satis shows up to talk with her.
Nobody react to what I'm about to tell you. I think that kid might be the Avatar.
But things are not so black and white. No pun intended. Because even Don Wei has his own issues. You know, as much of an ass as he is, deep down he's still mourning the death of his wife, and eventually he does start to realize what a lousy father he's been. Speaking of Maya, I really have to bring up one of the best moments in this show. In one race, the Earth team goes up against a mysterious alien simply known as Spirit. He is awesome. Why? Because he doesn't pilot a ship, he is a ship. Anyway, as it turns out, he's the racer that Maya went up against when she crashed, and it appeared that he intentionally caused the accident. You know Molly is out for some revenge. Unfortunately, her temper causes them to crash, but during the race, Spirit recognizes her and shows her what really happened that day. Man, you can tell that that moment has haunted him. Despite a ton of mishaps, eventually the Earth team does move on to the finals on planet Oban, an enormous planet at the center of the universe, which is home of the Avatar and said to be where all life in the universe originated. Now, throughout the show, you'll probably start to notice that something's not right. Early on, they drop a lot of subtle hints that there are other forces at work here. Bigger forces. Sinister forces. Perhaps Rick's accident was no accident. Maybe the Avatar is hiding something. It could be that the grand prize may not be what it seems. Something's going on here, and as the show progresses, all the pieces will start to come together. Now here's where things really start to get interesting, because all of your questions will start getting answered when they get to Oban. And as it turns out,
Hey, spoiler alert, nigga.
Okay, I won't spoil what happens. You'll just have to find out for yourself. Man, as much as I've said in this review, I still haven't done Oban Star Racers justice. I can go on and on about this show. The characters are interesting, the racing is exciting, and there are even a few fun and humorous moments. It's a shame it was only 26 episodes long. I'd love to have seen more, but it's still a great show and I highly recommend it. So try to track it down if you can. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Paranormal Rob, and I still don't have a catchphrase.